Okay. See, in this session, we are going to see that one, the Azure SQL database overview. So we are going to see that one, the Azure SQL database overview of that one. Overview Azure SQL database. So SQL database as service. Actually, this SQL database, we can call it like a SQL database as a service. So because this is the one they have created as a one of the service in that Azure platform only for the database purpose. So the database on-premises, whatever you are going to use it, the same thing, everything you can use it in this one. So we can call it this one as service, that SQL database as a service, or we can call it like a platform as a service also, because that yesterday we had discussed, right? This is the one. So it's available as a predefined one inside of this our Azure platform. So we can create that database and then you can start that development. So we can call it like a platform as a service. So this one they are using the SQL Server database engine, the on-premises Microsoft SQL Server. We are using that SQL Server database engine for running this our databases, right? So the same database engine here it is using. So the flavors of cloud SQL database, so Azure SQL database and the SQL virtual machine. So both you can choose. It depends upon that your business. You can decide it whether you want to go with that platform as a service or infrastructure as a service. If you're having license, that on-premises license, and you want to use it, and you want to install that software in your virtual machine, and you want to use that your all the existing license, everything, you can go with that infrastructure as a service or predefined. So that setup, if you want to use it means, then you can go with that Azure SQL database. So that maximum of the development projects we are using this Azure SQL database. So the SQL database features, the normal Azure the on-premises SQL database, whatever features are available, all the features here also available. Along with that, so have some cloud-based feature also, something like this Elastic Pool. So this Elastic Pool is one of them. So what is that one? So valuable one and budgetable. So we can use this one if you are using that multiple databases. Okay, instead of spending that more money for the cost saving purpose, you can go with this Elastic Pools. So flexible pricing configuration, all these features are available. So that configuration. So in the cloud environment, you are going to create the SQL database means you are going to create that one of the virtual machine. The virtual machine, it is going to be used for your database. So that machine configuration, what you want to use it, that configuration, so you can choose it. So these are the features, the business continuity and high availability, auditing, integration with the Power BI, dynamic data masking, elastic pools, flexible pricing configuration, Azure hybrid benefit. So this all these features you are going to see in every concept you are going to see in the hands-on. These all features are available. So business continuity and high availability. Actually, this business continuity and high availability, we are going to use this concept when we are having some of the challenges like this one. Actually, any of the natural disaster happened at the time, so that your business should not be affected, right? Because the database server, we are going to have it somewhere. The database server, you may have it in your local country or some of the different location, same region, right? Or different region, you may have that one. Suppose in that place where you are having that your database, that place, something's happened like a earthquake, something's happened, some natural disaster. Then your access, it will be disconnected, right? So if it is disconnected means your application will not work. Your business application will not work. So this type of time, so what you have to do, so you have to, so you have to use the business continuity and high availability features. So if you are using this feature, if you are implementing this concept means, so here you can avoid the business, what is that one, that interruption. because of this natural disaster, if anything happened, means we can manage it by using another server. So here we are going to use that primary and secondary type of servers, and primary server, if it is getting any problem, means secondary, we are going to make it like a primary. So like this type of things, we are going to do it in this business continuity and high availability concept. And auditing is one of the feature. The auditing feature actually here, we are going to use it for the tracking purpose. So who accessed your database, when they have accessed, what action they have done it in that your database. So all these type of things, everything we can do it. So here, the auditing, you can use it for the tracking. So by referring these data, we can find out who accessed your database and whenever they have accepted, whatever the actions they have done it, everything we can track it. And integration of the Power BI. Power BI is a reporting tool. For the reporting purpose, we are going to use that our business data. That business data, we are going to take it from this our SQL database. SQL database is one of the resource. Power BI is a separate one. Power BI, if you want to access the data from that your Azure SQL database, yes, we can do it. We can integrate that one, that integrate the database from the server Power BI. And dynamic data masking. So some of the data you don't want to show to all the users, you want to hide it. So if you want to do the hiding, then what you can do it means, so we can go with that dynamic data masking concept. Elastic pools. Elastic pool actually, so it's like a distribution, that configuration distribution. So this is on very useful way for the cost saving when we are using multiple databases. Okay, so yeah, that concept you will get to know very clearly when we are having the hands-on. Same flexible pricing configuration, what configuration you want to use it, what purpose you are going to use that your database. So all the things you can choose it when we are creating that our database. So that flexible pricing configuration and hybrid benefit, Azure hybrid benefit. This hybrid benefit using, so for that your existing license. For example, on-premises license you are using, that on-premises license. So if you want to use it, for example, on-premises you're having validity for the 5 years. First 2 years you have completed, but after completing the first 2 years, your company planning to migrate into the cloud. Remaining 3 years, validity is there for your license, right? So here, Microsoft, they are providing, so the on-premises license, whatever you're having, that license actually, the remaining period, whatever you're having, that period, so you can utilize it in the Azure database. Azure database. So the on-premises Microsoft database, SQL Server database license, you can use it for the cloud also. So this type of things is called hybrid benefit. Hybrid benefit. All right. So these are the features are there. Let's see one by one at our upcoming sessions. In this session, we are going to see first how to create that our SQL database, the Azure portal. Okay. So let's get into that our portal directly, right? So I'm going to create that one. So first I'm going to create that sandbox server. So I don't want to use this one, our subscription one for this scenario. So the sandbox is enough so that I'm going to activate my sandbox. The sandbox, if you're going to use it, means sure you should log in using that your Microsoft account. It's already logged in for me, so that I'm going to activate my sandbox server directly in this URL. The learning path, this feature is available. So once this sandbox is ready, so what we can do it, we can get into that our Azure portal. Because the sandbox server, we need to open that our portal. Yes, the 3 hours and 59 minutes. So here from here, so I'm going to take it into the server Azure portal that your credentials, whatever used for creating that account. So authentication actually recently seems it's not so in the beginning it is not available, but recently they have enabled this authentication option so that authentication we have to enable it. That authentication purpose, you have to install that authenticator app in that your mobile, then you have to configure it. So I will explain you everything so very clearly how to activate or how to install that authentication option app and how to activate it. Everything I will explain it. Don't worry. But now just listen it. Okay, fine. Now I logged in into that my account. See here in the top right. In the top right, you can see that one, the Microsoft Learn Sandbox is there. Microsoft Learn Sandbox. Yes, this is a learning path. So this is a sandbox server. Here in this area, so you can see some of the resources. So usually here it will be list out whatever the resources you recently used, all the resources, it will be available here. But not only these resources. So a lot of resources are there. Hundreds of resources are available in this Azure platform. So that resource, if it is not listing out in this place, how I can create my resource? For example, imagine I want to create the data factory. The data factory here, it is not available, right? Then how I can create? See whether that your resource is listing out here or not. It's not a problem. Okay. So the three ways you can create the resources. One, see here, and the create resource plus icon in the left side, you can see here. So in this place, click here and it will show that different categories, whatever the categories are available, all the categories will be listed out here. Okay. So a lot of data, what is that one? Categories are there. But we are not sure that our resource going to come under which category, right? So what you can do, it means simply you can search it here. So here, the data factory, just I'm going to search it. It is going to display the like filter only. It's like a like filter only. So whatever, wherever that words are matching, so somewhere it is matching data, somewhere it is matching factory. So all the resources it will show. All the resources it will show. For us, we need the data factory. This is that one. We have to choose. This is the one. So like this, that resource, whatever you want to select, you can search it and all the database. See, Azure SQL, Azure. So we need this SQL database. Like this, you can search it. Yes, this is one of the way for searching that your resource and creation. And come again to that home. This is a home, right? In the left top corner, you can see the three line. Click this one. So here in the favorites, the default some of the resources already so selected here as a favorite. So these are the resources available. Out of this, any one of the resource which you are looking, if it is available here means from here also you can select SQL database and click the create. By clicking this one, it will be navigated to the create page. So from here, you can create that your resource. All right? So yeah, this is one of the way. If it is not listing out means you can click this create resource option. Again, it will come to this river. So that create resource searching page. So from here, you can search that your resource, what you want to create. This is another way. Okay. But frequently in that real-time development time, so we will not go with this way or either this way. Simply we will search it here. Directly you can search it from here itself. So data factory is right. So it is listing out. So it will navigate to that data factory. So create data factory or else. So SQL database, SQL database. So here SQL database. Yes. So one of this way you can create that your resource, right? Are you all clear? So whatever the ways are there to create that resource. Fine.
Sure.
Now, yes, now just I'm going to create my database. The database here it is available. So from here, just I'm going to click on this one.
Vishwa, Shiva, sorry to stop you. So this is not the sandbox creation. This is just an Azure database you are creating now, right?
So for running that our Azure platform, we need that one server. So that server is a sandbox server to run
Okay.
that our Azure platform. Okay,
Okay.
so inside of the Azure platform, we are going to create that our SQL database server, everything. But for running the Azure platform, we need that one server. So that server, instead of that our subscription, we are going to use this sandbox server.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
Fine. Now, so so if you are working in this Azure means now we are so using that sandbox server. Because of the sandbox server only, we are able to use this Azure platform now. We are able to log in into this Azure platform because of this sandbox server only, because the behind the sandbox server is running. So under this server only, our Azure portal is running. Right. Now, I'm going to create my SQL database. So the SQL database here, click this one and want to try Azure SQL database for free, create a free serverless database with the first 1 lakh vCore seconds virtual core machine. So the virtual core seconds, 32 GB of data and 30 GB of backup storage free per month for the lifetime of the subscription. So limit 10 free databases per subscription. So here we are going to use it only for the learning purpose only we are going to use it. So even in that our actual subscription, if you want to create that your SQL database means this free offer sits there. So until this 32 GB of the data storage is, you can use it as a free one. So if you want to opt it, you have to apply offer. Right? Fine. Now just I click that one. But if I'm not using this one, remove offer means it's not a problem for this sandbox server because this is going to be free, totally free. It is not going to be charged anything. All right. But the subscription, if you are using means always try to use this apply offer to avoid that our cost reduction. Okay. So here either you need or not, you can choose it. So I have selected. Fine. Now, next important point in the Azure platform. In the Azure platform, if you are going to create any of the resource, you may create Azure Data Factory. You may create Azure SQL database. You may create logic apps. You may create Cosmos DB. You may create Azure Databricks. You may create Snaps. You may create one of the resource which is related to networking. Anything you can create. Hundreds of resources available here. If you are going to create that any resource means, even development purpose you can create. Application development you can create. So if you are going to create that any of the service, you have to create under one of a subscription, because under the subscription, whatever you are going to create and how much you are using that data usages or storages usages, what amount of storages you have used for storing that your data, or how long you have executed your query. Suppose if you are running that your query, if it is running for 30 minutes of time, but for running that 30 minutes, you need that one machine, right? So if you are running, that means you are using that machine. So you are using, that means you have to pay for it. If you are running 30 minutes, or if you are running 5 minutes, if you are running 15 minutes, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it, right? So here that all the billings will be calculated for that your subscription. That means under the subscription, whatever you have created, whatever you have used, based on that usages, the amount will be calculated and bill will be generated. So everything you have to create under that one subscription. That is important. Right. Then see, imagine we are working on of the data engineering project. The data engineering project, actually, we have to load the data from one of the data source to our Azure platform. One of the data source to our Azure platform, right? So here, for loading the data, from that our different sources, you may have your business source, Snowflake, on-premises, AWS, all three places you are having your business data, all the data you want to bring it into that your cloud, right? Then for the purpose, I'm going to use the ADF. After bringing the data, I'm going to do the transformation. I'm going to do the big data processing. So for the purpose, I'm going to use this Azure data bricks. So database, I'm going to use it. So Azure SQL database, I'm going to use it. All right. So like this, I'm going to use a lot of resources, whatever I need for my project, right? These all are going to be there in my Azure, but in the real time, we are going to have two environments or three environments. One is the development environment. The development environment, the developers, they are going to develop everything based on that business requirement. The idea of pipeline creation, Databricks notebook creation, and Azure SQL database tables creation. Everything they are going to create it and they are going to develop it based on that requirement. Right? After doing this, we will do the testing. We will do the testing. Then we need that separate environment. We need that separate environment. Whatever we are having in the development environment, all the resources should be there in that our testing environment. Testing environment. Yes, now imagine the testing, everything is successfully completed. Then I want to move it into that actual live environment, which is called production. Which is called production. Right? Production. See here. See the development to testing, Testing to development, some projects we will have only two, development environment and prod environment. The development environment itself, we will do all the testing. If you're having like this, if you're having like this, see this environment. This is called a dev, this is called test, this is called a prod. All these environments you have to create under this your Azure platform only, right? Azure platform only. Under the same subscription. Under the same subscription. Then how you will separate the environments. See, for the purpose, we are going to have the resource group. This is going to be that one resource group, dev resource group. This is going to be the test resource group. This is going to be the prod resource group, right? That resource group, yes. So here we are using the sandbox server. The sandbox server will not allow to create the resource group. Usually we will create that our resource group, what we need. We can create it. So I will show you that one, how to create that one when we are using that our subscription, right? But here we are using that our sandbox subscription, sandbox only we are using. So sandbox will not allow to create anything, that resource group. We have to use everything the default learning. The learning resource group will be created automatically whenever you are creating that sandbox server. This subscription and resource group, the default, you have to use it, and you can give that name for that, but database. Simply, I'm going to give the name demo DB, and yes, server you have to create, database server you have to create, database server. The database, if you are going to use it, means first you have to choose the database server, under which server you are going to create that your database, right? But here, I don't have that any server as of now. So I want to create that server first. Create new, by clicking this create new, you can create that your database server. So I'm going to create my server in this name, SQL Server, siva.database.windows.net. The name it is going to be like this. And location. And location. Yeah, as of now, just I will use the default one. Okay, what location you have to choose it, why and when. Yes, I will explain slowly. So one by one session. Okay, in the future session. So now just I'm leaving that default one, and authentication method. I'm going to take that SQL authentication. So you have to provide username, password, whatever you want to use it for accessing or logging into that your database, that credentials you have to provide here. Simply I'm using, so this admin Siva and password. Yeah. Yes. The server created under this server, under this server. So I'm going to create, so my database. Okay. The name of demo DB. Rest all I'm going to leave as it is. I'm not going to select anything. We don't want to do it anything now. So directly we can click this review plus create. It will review it. The required things, whatever you need, everything you have provided or not, it will review it. Once that reviews find success means the create option will be available. You can click this create. Click this create. See here, the deployment is in progress. So deployment is in progress. That means, so our Azure doing the deployment. So what is the meaning of that one? It is creating that one virtual machine. In that machine, it is installing that our software, that SQL Server software. Everything it is happening internally. Those things it will be happen automatically. So that deployment is happening for us based on that our requirement, right? Once that deployment is completed means you will have that your database. You will have that your database. Okay, it will take some time. So the refresh button, you can click this one for refreshing the current status, but still it is in progress only. See, meanwhile, I'll show you the database. So the server we have created, right? While creating the database, if there is no any server means you can create like what we have done it now. Or else first you can create the server and then you can use it. So this one, if you are choosing the SQL Server option, the SQL Server. This one, if you are choosing means you can create the SQL Server. But as I said earlier, so whatever you are going to create, everything you have to create under that your subscription, under the respective resource group. Multiple project, you may have it with your team. So that so few persons working with the project one, few persons working with the project two, all projects, how we are separating by creating the resource group. So like this, you have to choose the resource group and you have to use the name what you are going to provide for your server. See, the server name it will be like this, your name.database.windows.net and location and review plus create. So you can create it. So like this, you can create the server and then you can use it here. When you are creating that your database, you can use it. So directly if you want to create the server means that is also possible. But we have created while we are creating that our database because we did not have that any existing database server. That's what we have created. Now our database is ready. Click go to resource. Go to resource. Yes. The resource group. This is the one. What is the server name? This is the one. What is the status? Online. It is active. So a region, which region you have selected, and what is that your subscription type? What is that your subscription type and pricing tier? So these things frequently we will use it. Primarily when you are working with this database, server name is important. Using the server name only we can plan it how to connect from where to where. Okay. So pricing tier, it is going to be tell you the cost configuration based on how it is going to be calculated. So that cost is configuration is what it is. So we can check it here. And what is that your region and the current status is active or not, and under which subscription this account is created. So these are the informations you need. So now we have created our database. We have created our database. This is our database, the DemoDB. The DemoDB database is available. So database is available under the SQL Server Siva server. So
నీకు
inside of
ఇచ్చింది
this,
అది దేవుడి దగ్గర పెట్టుకోవాలన్నావు అందుకని
could you please mute? You guys, if you want to ask anything, means that time only please unmute. Otherwise, keep yourself mute. Okay. Fine. Now, So the database is ready. I want to create my table. So I want to create my table. If I want to create my table means I want to write the query. Where I can write the query? Is there any query editor available here? Yes, it's available. See, in the left side. So some menus are there, right? So here you can see that on query editor preview. The preview it's available. You can open it. So I'll open it in the separate tab. Yes, it will ask to log in. You have to provide that your credential, what we have given when we are creating that our database server. Username is admin Siva and password. See here. See, I'm not able to log in into this my database server. I'm not able to log in. Reason, an instance-specific error occurred while establishing a connection to SQL Server. Connection was denied. Since any public network access is set to yes, because of the reason, connection was denied. What to do? See, when we are trying to create that our database, we did not do anything in that our networking part. Directly we click that, review and create. See, if you are creating that your database, especially for the database, so directly you're creating without doing that any of the networking permissions setups. So you have to do two things. Two features you have to enable it. The two feature, it's available here. The SQL server, set server firewall. See here, this public network access option disabled. Because of this reason only, I am not able to log in into that my database. So I'm going to take this selected networks, right? And I don't have any specific network separately. So directly I'm going to take this one and the IP and this IP. Just I'm going to add it. So from this IP, I'm going to access my database. So give me the permission. This is what I'm requesting here by selecting all these things, right? Yes. Now, the exceptions allow Azure service and resources to access this server. See, this database I'm going to create for storing the data. The data from where I'm going to get it? The data I'm going to get it from my on-premises. How you are going to get the data from the on-premises? Using ADF. What is that ADF? ADF is one of the resource in the Azure platform. What is the Azure SQL database? It is also one of the resource. So here both are separate resources. So Azure Data Factory and Azure SQL database. So the SQL database is going to be my target. My Azure Data Factory going to get the data from my on-premises. After getting the data from the on-premises, Azure Data Factory want to store the data into my SQL database. Then this SQL server should be accessible for my Azure resource, which is called Azure Data Factory. So Azure service, whether you want to give the permission to access the server from other Azure services, yes, then you have to check this button. Then only that other resources, later we will use it, don't worry. So that resource, if want to access this server means this option should be checked. That means other Azure service, anything if you want to use it to connect or access that your database means this option should be checked. Yeah, click the save. So you can see this one that updating server. Yes, both are saved. Now come again. I'll try to log in again. Yes, I'm able to log in. I'm able to log in. Is there any table available? No. Is there any view available? Here, the default view is available and store procedure. So here, the default system procedures available, right? But our customized one, anything is available. We did not create anything. I want to create the table. So for creating the table, what we have to use it? We have to use the SQL query. We have to use the SQL query. So create, what I'm going to create? Table. What is the table name? Cust. The table going to have what are the columns? Within the bracket you have to mention customer ID. Customer ID going to be in what data type? It is going to be integer. Then data type you have to mention. Customer name, another column. The customer name going to be what are the data type? It is going to be string.
Varchar or in
Yeah,
varchar, right?
just listen. Everything I'll tell you. So the varchar are, so end varchar we are going to use it. So I'm going to use this 50 size. Then location. Location also going to be varchar, string type. So wherever you are having that string type data in that place, you can mention the varchar data type or in varchar data type. Yeah, simply I have created, just I'm going to create one table with 3 columns. I have written the query, how to run that my query. To run this your query, see here the run button is available. Click this one. Click this one. Yes, query succeeded. Affected row 0. Result. No. That means table should be created. Click the refresh. Expand it. Check it here. Right? The table is there. We have created the table with 3 columns. Yes. The ID column, name column, location column. Yes, I have created. I want to store the data into this my table. How I can store the data? Again, you have to write the query. For store the data, insert query, you have to write it. Insert into where? Into cust. Insert into cust. See what I'm going to store? Values. What are the values? The columns, whatever you have, based on the column, you have to pass the values. How many columns? 3 columns. First column, ID. Second column, name. Third column, location. Yes. I want to run this line alone. Then you have to select, because in the query editor window, you may have that multiple query, but you don't want to run all the query. You want to run it only this query means that query you have to select what you want to run. Then you can click this run. Yes. Record 1 rows affected. I want to store another one, right? So here, the second one. Just a minute. Here, if you want to write that multiple line means you can write it like this. Right? Both line only I want to run it. Select Click the run. Yes. 2 rows affected. So now I have inserted some of the records. How I can confirm it, those records are inserted into that my table or not? I have to select it. So select star from the table name. Select that line alone, run it, see this one. Yes, my table having this data, the record, 3 records. I have inserted, all the inserted records are available. How I am selecting? Using this query, select star from that my table name. Select star from that my table name, right? Yes, this is the way we can create that our table, we can see that our data, we can insert. So the database related things, everything we are going to do it using that SQL query. So here my database, this is the one, and my table, this is the one. So these are my records. This is my server. All the objects we have created just now, right? Everything we have created. The server we have created, database we have created. After creating the database, using this query editor window, we have written the query for creating the table, inserting the records, and selecting the records from the table. Everything we have to achieve it using the SQL query. Right? Yes, this is the way we are going to create that our SQL database in that our Azure platform. So we have logged in, right? And we have seen that different ways for creating that resources. So then finally we have created that our database. While we are creating the database, we have created the server, because without the server, we cannot create that our database. We have created, right? Then deployment is completed. After that only, so we are able to use it. We will use that one, right? So here the SQL database we have created in this our Azure platform. So this is one of the resource. So yes, in the real time, when you are working in a project, so there will be a so at least one database. At least one database. There is a possibility to be there in that your project. Right? Yes, this is the way how we are going to create that our Azure SQL database. Are you all clear?
Yes.
Yeah, in the next session, we are going to see that one. There's some of the configurations. While we are creating the database, we can follow the configurations, what we want to use it, that configuration, how we are going to create it. So that time only the DTU and vCore coming into the picture. What is the DTU? What is the vCore? Okay, so what are the services available under the DTU, under the vCores? So all those things we are going to discuss in that our next session. So that's all for the day. So if you're having that any doubts or any clarification, you can ask now.
Okay, just one query. So we can create the database and everything just by using the AI. We don't need any coding required for anything.
Nothing, no. So if you are working in that Azure platform means, so everything you can create in the UA itself.
Okay.
Creations, everything you can do it using the UA.
So we'll need like SQL and Python to import the data and clean it up.
Those knowledge you should have, because after creating the database, whatever you are going to do it using the SQL queries only you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you need that query. And if you are going to work with the Databricks means that time you need that Python. So those things you should have. So we are going to learn it.
Okay.
Python, everything, PySpark.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other doubt for anyone? First thing, all of you are able to understand.
Yeshiva.
This is the way only we are going to create every resources, and this is the way only we are going to discuss that concept, whatever we are going to see that day. That concept we are going to discuss very detailedly, scenario basis. So the way of delivery is understandable.
Yes.
Yes, Shubham.
Okay. Yeah, any other doubt? If there is no any doubt, means we can wind up today's session, and tomorrow we will connect same time. Any doubt for anyone?
No, Shiva.
Right. Okay, fine. We'll meet again tomorrow same time, and we'll continue this one. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Shiva.
Thank you, Shubham.
Thank you,
See you
Shiva.
tomorrow.